What's going on, everybody? It's Nathan Payne. Today we're going to be talking about what the heck do you do when a seller wants way too much money for the house and you already know you can't give them the price they want, and you don't want to lie to them and say, yeah, I can do that, time up, waste some time, try to get them to renegotiate. That's not the strategy you want to do. I'm telling you right now, that's not the right thing to do. It can mess with a lot of people's lives. Don't do it. Okay, if that's your strategy, don't do it. I'm gonna tell you guys how I do it the painless way, how we do it, and how we work with sellers when they want way too much. Okay, but they have that. We know they're gonna sell for cash. They're in a situation where they're going to accept something lower because they want speed, convenience, and ease, and they don't want to list it with an agent. And we're like, hey, you sure you can make more money that way? And they're like, no, I want to sell for cash. I've already decided. But you're at a point where they're wanting too much still. Okay, and you don't want to immediately just get hit with that gut punch and say, hey, well, I'm going to need it for 50% of Zillow, 60% of Zillow, whatever. You don't want to like anchor them too low yet. I'm going to tell you exactly my process and how we're working with a lady right now who wanted $850,000 for a house, but now we're able to we're still working. I'm going to explain it. We're able to get her to about 630. Okay, from 850 to 630. So, and where she's a little bit more realistic about what's going on. Okay, so if that happens to you, which I'm sure it happens to anybody that's doing this business, when you're talking to someone that wants more than their house is worth, why? Because they just go on Zillow, they see that the Zillow estimate is 850, and they're like, well, my house is worth 850. Well, they don't know that they're in a neighborhood of newer homes and their home is older. Their house is not in the same condition as the other homes. They base everything off of Zillow or realtor.com or Redfin. Guys, how do you handle this? All right, we're going to go over it. But before we dive in, I want to say what's up, everybody. It is my birthday today. So if you want to give me a birthday shout out, go ahead, comment, say, hey, happy birthday. I appreciate that. And if you don't want to give me a birthday shout out, all good. It's just another day. I'm just 33. All good. All right. Well, we're going to give some time, let people come on in. Welcome. Tell me where you're watching from. It's important for me to network with you guys. And again, this call, as you guys know, we love batch leads here, and we got batch leads in the corner. If you guys don't have it, check it out. You got a free trial. Definitely go check it. And anything that I use on this call to show you, to educate you guys and teach you guys how to handle these situations when sellers want too much, it's all going to be at painlessflipping.com, including my link if you want to try the batch leads. But anyway, go check it out. I'm excited to work with you guys. So let me take a look at the comments. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, I should be able to see your stuff. If you're on Facebook or any other platforms, I don't always see the comments, but I do see some coming through. So, ooh, the CEO, happy birthday, bro. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. 33, feeling older, but feeling fresh, actually, I feel in the best shape of my life, thanks to jujitsu, because, I'm working out, working hard. So anyway, feel good. Carly, thank you so much. I appreciate you supporting me as well. All right, guys. So let me ask you: have you ever dealt with a seller? This is just should be a rhetorical question, but have you ever dealt with a seller that wants too much money, more than their house is worth? Okay, and what do you usually do in that situation when you know they're wanting way too much and you can't pay that, and you don't want to just go ahead and tell them exactly what you can pay because you're like, I don't want to offend them. What do you guys do? Okay. So if you've had that, I want you to type in there. What do you do in this situation? Seller wants too much and they want to sell for cash. They're not going to list it with a real estate agent. You've already talked to them about that. They are going to go for a cash offer. And, in the back of your head, you're like, well, if I tell them what I can buy, they're going to be upset or whatever. And maybe somebody's going to come along and tell them a number that they like. And then eventually they're going to try and renegotiate. That strategy doesn't work. It's not the right way to do it, especially like the situation we're dealing with. The lady, she's in a tough situation. She's getting divorced. And if we were just to be like, yeah, we can do 850 or 800,000 or something like that. And she's like, great. She would get excited. She would start getting everything ready. And then we would come in because we know we got to be a lot lower because of the condition of the home, the price point, where flippers need to be in the area. We know that we'd have to go back and get it for a lot lower. And that would just ruin the relationship. And I'm not about, setting expectations with people and kind of gut punching them later. That I don't think that's the right thing to do. So how do I deal with it? If again, any of you want to comment what you do, that'd be cool. Let's learn from each other. But let's go into it right now. All right. So here's the story. I get a lead from a friend. My friend's like, "Hey, I know this lady needs to sell for cash. She wants to sell fast." And I ask him, "Well, has she thought about listing it? Because we also can refer to an agent if she wants to do that. She's going to get the most if she goes that route. Obviously, you're going to make more money if you just list it. It takes time. You get, cash is usually going to be the lowest offer." And he's like, "Yeah, she doesn't want to go with an agent. She wants to sell this thing ASAP." Okay. So I'm like, all right, that's cool. What does she want? And he's like, she wants 850. I'm like, okay, wow. That's a higher price point. But he's like, no, but it's a really nice neighborhood, big home. I'm like, okay. So guess what? I go on Zillow and guess what when I type in the address, guess what I see? And also on batch leads, you type in there, you see what the estimated value is. It's around 850. Okay. She wants just what she looked it up. And that's in her mind. Her mind is it's worth 850. You can't tell her any different. So when we get to her, that's what she wants. And it's not worth 850. And let me show you guys exactly why. Because the ARV is around 850. Okay. And the cool thing about batch leads is you can go in there and you can check out the comps. I can't dive too deep into it because YouTube, if with all the good information the batch leads shows, it basically YouTube's like, hey, you can't show all that info. But I'm taking you guys through like the process of how I determine this is a deal or not. Okay, so look, this is the spreadsheet I use for when I wholesale deals. Okay, so and I give this away obviously at paynlessflipping.com. If you're part of the academy, but anyway, so the house is worth 850. Okay, that's what the ARV is. All right, that's what we can sell the house for. That's what Zillow says, but I looked it up. It's pretty much worth 850 fixed up. Okay, so I'm a flipper. Or actually in this scenario, I'm going to wholesale it. So I got to wholesale it to a flipper. So let's say I give it. She's like, look, I'll give it to you for 800,000. I'm giving you a $50,000 discount. This is how flippers, they run their numbers. Okay. This is a spreadsheet I got from a hard money lender that I work with. And this is how he determines if he likes to do deals or not. Okay. If he's not going to fund something. So a hard money lender is going to give someone money. They're going to give the money to flip the house at 12% interest, 2 points to borrow the money. And he's going to require 15% down, which is 120K that the flipper is going to have to bring to the deal to get in. And this flip, let's just say it takes 4 months. It's not that big of a rehab. The house isn't terribly distressed, but if you want to get 850, you're going to have to put some work into it. You're going to have to pay commissions when you sell it, and you're going to have to pay closing costs. So if I went in here and let's just say that the rehab cost is 20K, it's not a very, it's just a minimal rehab. You're gonna have to redo some things, it's not that big. It's a big of a rehab. It's not a small house, but the house is fine. So if I wanted to make 10K, a 10K wholesale fee, and these are the numbers that the flipper would have to pay. These are all his costs from the hard money, from holding it, from paying an agent, paying closing costs. If I got it for 800,000 from the seller and I wholesaled it to him for 10K and his price was 810,000, he would lose $63,000. Okay. He would lose money. He'd be at a negative 7% return. That's why 800,000 is not that, it's not a discount for a flipper. It's actually loses you money if you buy that. So the seller's like, hey, I want 800,000. I know that doesn't work because I know that if she sold it on the MLS just after 3%, well, 6%, she'd pay listing and she'd pay a buyer's agent. She's going to walk away with pretty much 800,000. That's if she sells at 850, if it's in the condition that's required to sell for 850. If she sold it as is condition, she'd probably sell it for like 775. And then she'd get less than that. Okay. So anyway, seller is wanting too much. That's all I'm trying to say. So where would I have to be for this to make sense for my flipper? Well, my flippers want to be in the green. If they can get in the green, they're 100% going to buy the deal. They're like, yeah, freaking, if I can get in the green, I'll make a good money. So at 650, okay, at 650, he's at an 11% return. Now, my flipper, and that's guys right here. Most of my guys will buy in the yellow. Okay. Now in green, it's a no-brainer. They're going to be like yes every time. But yellow is what they're still gonna do. When they get into like the 9%, then they're like, maybe not. But it really depends on who you're working with. Oh. I have the talk to text on, so that's why it's jacking up, messed it up. So guys, if I got this house at 630 and I gave it to my buyer, I wanted to make 10K and I gave it to him at 640, they'd make $116,000. They're going to do this deal. So I know at 630 it's a deal. Okay. But I also know that I could probably sell it to someone where they'll make a 10% return instead of 14. So that means I can increase my wholesale fee if I wanted to 40K. Okay. I hope this is all making sense. I'm just running numbers. This is how I determine if this is a deal. Now, she said she wants 800 in the very beginning of our conversation with the lady. She's like, I want $800,000. And I'm like, well, you wouldn't, in my mind, I'm like, you wouldn't really get that if even if you listed it. Okay. So how do I handle this situation? That's what I wanted. That's what I said I would tell you at the very beginning of this situation, this call, is I go here to my offer options spreadsheet and I walk the seller through the options. And now you can do it with a screen share. You can show this one on your iPad, or you can just talk to them about it. But I say, hey, look, before I give you my cash offer, because usually when we buy properties, it's not going to be your best offer because we have to make a profit. We have to go in there and rehab it. We got to make money. I don't know exactly where I would be. That's what I say. But have you thought about fixing this up yourself and flipping it? That's why I say the next thing. Have you thought about doing, upgrading it yourself? And then they usually say, no, I haven't, because I don't have $20,000. I don't have 4 months. I want to be out of here ASAP. So I say, okay, so flipping yourself is out of the question. Is that right? Okay. They're like, yes, it's out of the question. Okay, got it. What we can do is that we can put this on the market and we can partner to find someone that will flip it. We can do a novation, and they don't know what that is, but you can just basically say we can do a full service program where we put it on the market, and we look for a partner to flip it with us, and that way we can get you the most money possible. Okay, and then she's like, well, you got to put it on the market, got to put it in the MLS. No, I don't have time for that. Like, okay, I totally get it, but if we did that, you're going to be able to make more money. I'm just giving you your options here. She's like, no, I want to be done ASAP. And then I don't always pitch like seller finance, owner carryback, because that just depends on their situation. Usually if they don't have time, well, if they have a ton of equity and they want it all up front, usually I don't pitch seller finance. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you can do it with anything. Of course you can, but I don't want to confuse the seller. And in this situation, that doesn't really work. So unless she's like really, really wants her price, and then she's just going to have to take it over time. But anyway, so I've already, when I've talked to the seller, I say, okay, hey, look, if you want the most, you're going to have to renovate it, but you don't want to do that. Okay. That's fine. I totally get it. And if you want, if you want the next best option of not fixing up yourself, but if you want the next best option of making the most, we can look for a partner and flip this. And we just have to put it on the market and find a partner. And she's like, no. So I say, okay, look, this is how I handled the conversation. Here we go, guys. So I say, hey, look, usually this is not my final offer, but usually for us to buy a property, and I'll usually show the spreadsheet of like where I need to be if I'm with them in person. And now if I don't feel like showing the spreadsheet, I don't, but it just kind of depends like how I'm feeling. I'll just say, hey, usually we buy properties in this area, and don't be offended. Get ready. I don't sit down, Mrs. Seller or Mr. Seller. We usually buy properties in similar condition to yours for around $600,000 to $650,000 in that range. Now that's not my final offer. I'm just saying that's where it would be. Is that a place, or is that somewhere you could see yourself selling this for if we could buy it and close on it in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks? And you just see what they say. They're like, if she's like, absolutely not even close, wouldn't even do that. So that's kind of like where the situation was. Like she couldn't see herself at anything below 800,000. She just didn't make sense to her. Right. And I said, hey, these are your other options. And then, she doesn't want to do that. So this is what I say. This is the painless way. And this is how I handle things. I say, look, if I buy this thing, if you want 100% yes that I can buy this, I'm going to need to be in that range, and I can kind of dive a little bit deeper, but it's going to be somewhere around there. Sounds like you're not really open to that. And it sounds like you're going to sell for cash. I do have a large network of cash buyers that I work with. And what I can do is I can kind of run this by some of the people I work with just to see where they would be. And, maybe I can partner with one of them. Maybe I can get in on the deal with them, but they might be able to pay a little bit more than I can. And this is usually what they say is, yeah, fine. Show whoever you want. I got to make more money. And then what I do is I don't blast this out to the whole United States. I don't blast it out to the whole state of Utah. I just reach out to my cash buyers I have a relationship with. I don't have this deal under contract. I have not told the seller, yes, I can do 800, 750 or anything. I've just said, hey, look, let me see if I can, what I can get. I reach out to my cash buyers and I say, hey guys, this is the situation. I trust them. They trust me. We've done deals together. And I say, where would you be on this deal? And I usually set up a way to go see it, like a walkthrough. So that's what we did on this property. We sent people through and they told us where they needed to be. And she said, we were getting offers anywhere from 630, 650. Most of them are 630, 650 where I was needing to be. We have one at 700,000, 740 and 750. There's one of our buyers is $100,000, $110,000 where over majority of the offers and where I would be. So now it's been a couple days. It might have been, actually, it's probably been a week or so. The seller is understanding from our telling her, hey, a lot of people are in this lower range. Her expectations are lower. The trust is there because we haven't said, yeah, we can do 800,000 or we can do 850 and then try to sign a contract and then try to lowball her later. We're just telling her what we're saying. What are the cash offers, like what people are wanting to, flip a house for in that area. So we are in the situation where she's gone all the way from 850. Now she is understanding that most offers, because they are around 630 to 650. Now we do have that offer at 740. We are vetting just to see like if that's the flipper we want to go with. We want to wholesale it to. And yeah, and now, she's open to that range of 630, 640. So that's how I deal with it, guys, because again, I don't like situations where they want a certain price and I know it's way too high. And I just like when I was a noob, I would just lock stuff up and just like hope that I could renegotiate it. Terrible idea. Yeah, of course it works occasionally, but that's just not the way you want to run business. Because you don't want to be setting expectations for people, especially in a situation where there's a divorce and they want to move on and you tell them something and they get all their hopes up. So anyway, that's the process that I use. And, it happens all the time, guys. It happens that sellers want too much. And if you just say, hey, look, these are your options, and they don't pick the renovate themselves or do a novation where you can get them more, or they don't want to just list it with a friend or themselves, you say, hey, this is what I can do for you. You get kind of anchor them low. And if they accept that, then you got a deal. And if not, then you just run it by some of your cash buyers, see where they would be. And then it's easy negotiation from there. So I thought that would help you guys all out with how to deal with cash offers with sellers and how to deal with cash buyers. We just ask our cash buyers where they would be. And again, we don't have this under contract. Could someone go around us? Anything could happen. We could sign a contract and someone could still go around us. So we send this to people that we trust and we work with, and I'm not worried about it. And we've developed a good relationship with the seller. So I hope that helps you guys out to kind of understand the flow that I work with. And I call it painless because like I didn't tell her. I didn't like hold anything back. I'm not hiding anything. I'm literally just giving her the options that she has. She gets to pick which one she wants. I'm happy for her for whatever she decides. And if she wins, I win. We all win. And it's potential. It's a potential big deal we could make. Obviously, we want to help her out and get her as much as we can. But we have a business to run as well. So we'll see what happens. And I hope you guys all got some good insight out of that. We got Chivito saying, where are you located? I'm located in Salt Lake City, Utah. How about you, brother? How about you, Chivito? Where are you from? And I'm going to open it up to some questions, guys. I do this so I can help you guys succeed and do more deals. Really, like this game, guys, is just a numbers, like knowing how to run simple math. And you don't even need a spreadsheet like this, but I like to use this so I can make sense of it to the seller. I like to make sense of it to me. But, I'm kind of thinking we'll probably get around, she'll probably accept around 650. ARV of this property is probably 850. And we'll probably honestly be able to wholesale it for like 690, right? And there'll be like an 8% return. We'll make 40K. and the seller, hopefully that's, I think their goal is to pay off their debt and then walk away with 10K each or something like that. So hopefully we can get them to that point. But anyway, that's how the numbers break down, everybody, and I hope that makes sense. We do, like I said, this is brought to you by Batch Lead, so we do use that to run the comps and make sure we're in the right spot. But yeah, what's the hardest wholesale deal you've ever had to deal with? Whew, man, there's too many of those, brother. Too many. I would say, like, hey, CEO, if you want to kind of learn about like some of the deals I've really gone through and they've been crazy, go to my YouTube channel. I'll actually show you guys like where to watch it, because I could tell you the story right now, but I've already told the story. Let me show you really quick. So I have something called Nathan Payne's Wholesaling Story Time. So let me show you. This is probably one of the hardest deals that I've had to do. So if you just go down here into the playlist, Nathan Payne's Wholesaling Story Time, it was this one right here, Wholesaling Real Estate Story Time, Move to Hoarder. This one was the craziest situation, hardest deal, because I had to move a hoarder. I had to like talk her. She was crying all the time. I had to go back and forth. I had to drive her moving truck like 2 hours south to like southern Utah. Moved her stuff. Like she wanted to cancel a lot, like wasn't sure she wanted to move. I had to, we had to kind of be her therapist. Anyway, watch that video if you guys are interested on like what's the hardest wholesale deal. That was like when I first started, but that's to answer your question. It's when we had to move a hoarder. I'll throw that link in there if you guys want to if you want to watch that, because it's actually kind of a funny story. But yeah, that would be my answer to you, my friend. All right. Well, everybody, again, I hope that was helpful. We run into it every day. We run into sellers that want too much. And what do? You just open and honest and transparent. Just say, hey, look, like you're going to make more money if you do this. Are you thinking about doing these things? Can you do these things? Yes or no? Okay, you can't. Okay, well, I'm going to be around here. Okay, that doesn't work for you. Well, I do know a couple other people. And by the way, I don't really run this by buyers unless like I know they're going to sell for cash and it's legit. If they're just like, oh yeah, you can see what they'll pay. But if I don't get what I want, I won't move. Like I determine like this situation, like she's going to sell, she needs to sell. And that's, so again, don't just do this. Don't waste your time just checking on like what people will pay for anybody. There has to be motivation involved. And what are the 4 pillars of motivation? It's like, the timeline, they want it fast. The condition of the property stinks. Their motivation is one, like the reason. And shoot, I can't remember what was it? Timeline. I'll remember it later. I'm sure you guys can go find it. But yeah, hope that helps. Everybody, I'm about to sign off. Does anyone else have any other questions before we dip? CEO, did that answer your question? I sent that link for that video. I don't know if you've seen it, but moving that hoarder, don't do it, everybody. If don't offer to personally move. Oh yeah, and the deal we're talking about right now in Salt Lake with this lady, like she needs help with moving too. But you think I'm gonna get the U-Haul like I did in that old video when I did back in the day? I used to U-Haul people around and their stuff. No, I'm not. We're going to help her move, we're going to get the buyer to pay for it. We're going to get, that all coordinated by the moving company. I'm not picking up any boxes. Forget that. Yeah, definitely going to watch it. Yeah, I'd recommend watching those story time ones, because I actually dive into like how I did those deals and the stories behind all of them. Those are good to watch. They're more entertaining. This is more like we're teaching you how specifically to do the strategies, but check those videos out and give me your feedback. I'd love to hear about it. Oh, dude, I appreciate it. I'm about to sign off right now and go to dinner with my wife. So wish me luck. Wish me happy birthday. I appreciate you, CEO. And yeah, love it. All right, everybody, have a great one. And like I said, if you liked any of the resources on here, go to the Payneless Flipping Academy, where we got our batch leads link that gets you a free trial, and we give a bunch of free resources in there as a gift, because it's a 15-day free trial. You can check it out, get your money back if you don't like it, but you'll love it. I promise. Peace out, everybody.